إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, as of Maghrib now, it is now Saturday, and it is the 5th of Dhul-Hijjah, 1436. This leaves us with 4 more days before the day of Arafah. So if someone can get the reward for fasting on the day of Arafah, if they've not been able to fast the first 9 days, that would be huge, because the reward is exceptional. As for the text here in front of us, Al-Masir Fi Ilm it-Tafsir, we ended on ayah 32 of Surah Ar-Rum, the 30th surah. Now the Imam, rahimahullah, he begins by saying, quote, "Those who believe in Allah, they are those who show certainty and return to Him." Now the expression munibina, although in the plural, is speaking to the Prophet ﷺ, but also addressing the entire ummah. They do not leave from any of His commands that He has given with purposeful intent. We've already discussed some of this in Surah Al-Bakri, the 2nd surah, ayah 3, and Surah Al-An'am, the 6th surah, ayah 159. The Exalted One then says after this, وَإِذَا مَسَّ النَّاسَ ضُرٌّ دَعَوْا رَبَّهُم مُنِيبِينَ إِلَيْهِ ثُمَّ إِذَا أَذَاقَهُم مِّنْهُ رَحْمَةً إِذَا فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُم بِرَبِّهِمْ يُشْرِكُونَ لِيَكْفُرُوا بِمَا آتَيْنَاهُمْ فَتَمَتَّعُوا فَسَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ أَمْ أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ سُلْطَانًا فَهُوَ يَتَكَلَّمُ بِمَا كَانُوا بِهِ يُشْرِكُونَ وَإِذَا أَذَقْنَا النَّاسَ رَحْمَةً فَرِحُوا بِهَا وَإِن تُصِبْهُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ إِذَا هُمْ يَقْنَطُونَ أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ فآت ذي القربى حقه والمسكين وابن السبيل ذلك خير للذين يريدون وجه الله وأولئك هم المفلحون وما آتيتم من ربا ليربو في أموال الناس فلا يربو عند الله وما آتيتم من زكاة تريدون وجه الله فأولئك هم المضعفون الله الذي خلقكم ثم رزقكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم هل من شركائكم من يفعل من ذلكم من شيء سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون. And whenever there touches people any harm, they call on their Lord, beseeching him. Then whenever some mercy comes to them, there are a group of them that associate partners with their Lord, so that they might reject faith in that which we have given them. Little is the benefit that they get, but they shall certainly come to know. Or we have sent down to them authority, and he speaks according to that which they associate partners with. But when we cause the people to taste some mercy, they take glory in that which they have done and that which they've associated partners in. And if there comes to them some harm or some difficulty because of what their hands have thrown forth and put forth in that regard, then they are filled with regret and remorse and mourning. Don't they see that indeed Allah spreads out the sustenance to whoever He wills and has delineated it to those who require? Indeed, in that are signs for the people who believe. So therefore, give the near relative his right, as well as the needy and the wayfarer. That is better for those who seek the face of Allah. And for these, they are indeed the successful ones. Now, they were not given of anything to increase in the wealth of people, except the fact that they were given it so that they might not transgress. But it rendered little for them in the sight of Allah. Whatever they gave of zakah, and whatever you might give, seeking the face of Allah, then you shall certainly be successful. Allah is the one that created you, then He sustained you, then He shall cause you to die, then He shall cause you to live. Are any of your partners able to do that at all? Glorified and exalted is He from that which they associate with Him. Corruption has gone forth in the earth and in the sea, according to what the hands of people have brought, so that they might taste a part of that which they've done of their wickedness, in order for them to return to the truth. Surah Ar-Rum, the 30th surah, ayat 33 to 41. When the Exalted One is said, when some harm touches man, they call upon their Lord beseechingly, and when there touches them some mercy. Now this is referring to the fact the harm that's being referred to is famine and pestilence, and the mercy is rain. So the pestilence represents testing and trial, and the mercy represents pardon. And a group among them, meaning among the people, in times of difficulty, associate partners with Allah. Now, in times of difficulty, those who even associate partners with Allah will often abandon their idols and return back to the true Lord and call on Him and Him alone. But in times of ease, they associate partners with Him. They reject faith in that which we have given them. We've already described and discussed this in Surah Al-Ankabut, the 29th surah, ayat 67. So, leave the matter, for they shall come to know. Then the Exalted One says, or have we sent down upon them, meaning the idol worshippers, that in times of difficulty abandon their idols, but in times of ease return to their idolatry? Have we given them authority, proof, and a book from the sky, with which they've been commanded to commit idolatry? فَهُوَ يَتَكَلَّمُ بِمَا كَانُوا بِهِ يُشْرِكُونَ. Authority which they might speak of that which they have, meaning the shirk. Is there some book they've been given that has told them to commit major shirk? Now this question that they're being asked is one not of questioning, but one of rebuke. Then Allah the Exalted says, and when there comes to the people some mercy. Now this was specifically revealed to the idol worshippers of Mecca. The mercy is the rain, and the trial is the hunger and famine. Ibn Qutaybah said that the mercy represents the favor of Allah and the test represents the trials. The scholars of commentary say that which they're taking blessings in and rejoicing in here is rejoicing in the fact that they have not thanked Allah and they feel themselves self-sufficient. And the second is they lose hope because they lose hope in the favor of Allah because they transgress. And when some difficulty strikes them, they lose further hope. Now this is the opposite description of the believer. For the believer, he thanks Allah at times of goodness, and he hopes for Allah's relief in times of difficulty and distress. We've discussed this already in Surah Bani Israel, also known as Surah Al-Isra, the 17th Surah, ayat 26. Then Allah the Exalted says, that is, meaning, that which they've been given, what Allah has told you to give, the close relative, the needy, and the wayfarer, giving them their right is better for those who seek the face of Allah, meaning seeking by their actions the reward of Allah. And what they were given of any increase. So a man is given an increase through another man by seeking that he gets reward. The scholars who have mentioned this include Ibn Abbas, Sa'id ibn Jubayr, Mujahid, Tawus, Ad-Dahhak, Qatada, Al-Qurdi. Ad-Dahhak has also said, now this is not referring to a reward nor a penalty, but here Allah the Exalted is talking about whatever increase people have been given. Whatever increase people have been given, that there are some who they increase but they get no increase in the sight of Allah. So there are those who they spend their wealth, but Allah does not accept what they've given. Al-Hasan al-Basri also says that those who mix riba with their wealth have nothing in the sight of Allah. The man who gives his near relative wealth in order for him to become wealthy, not seeking a reward from Allah, shall not have a reward, as mentioned by Ibrahim al-Nakhai. The man who gives those who serve him in order for them to serve him better and not for the sake of Allah the Exalted gets no reward, as said by Ash-Sha'bi. So it must be understood, no increase comes, no doubling, because they did not intend the sake of Allah. They only intended to give what they had in order for them to get something from it. And they did not intend nearness to Allah. Whatever zakah they gave. So whatever sadaqah they gave, not intending for the sake of Allah, only intending something else, they also lose out. But those who sincerely gave it, as Allah says, وَمَا آتَيْتُم مِّن زَكَاةٍ, those who gave the zakah seeking the face of Allah, hoping the reward that Allah has, then they shall be given a double reward, as Ibn Qutaybah has said. As the Judge has said, that reward is doubled many times over, as we know from the hadith. So we're talking about whatever they give of their wealth, Allah will double the principle of what they have. Close quote. And what this means then, so the people that give in sadaqah or zakat al-fitr, you have to make sure that you understand this. The principle of your wealth is the foundation of it. Any excess that you have of your wealth, this is your savings of gold or silver or crops, whatever is your savings, that's what you give. And zakah, if it holds over for a certain amount and it reaches a certain level, then it's up. So Allah says, if you give that, seeking His reward, you give zakat al-fitr and you give sadaqah, Allah won't increase just the extra that you gave, but the actual principle that you have. Allah says, I'm going to increase the principle of your wealth. Not your excess, your principle. Why? Because your excess will be what you'll be giving for zakat al-fitr. But if Allah says, I'm going to increase your excess, that means what you need to live. So Allah will increase. Now, people can see this at times when someone gets married or they have more children. And there's always the person that complains and says, oh, how are we going to care for another child? We've already got so many. How are we going to do this? And then Allah provides and increases. Why? Because Allah has not only increased just the rizq, Allah has increased the principle in the rizq, either by stretching it and making it go further, or Allah has stretched the rizq or made the rizq greater in which you're actually making more. So the principle of your wealth, Allah increases. And then whatever comes as excess is a different matter. But Allah is saying will increase your principle. Now the Imam rahimahullah then goes on to say, quote, as for the ayah, corruption has become manifest on land and sea. This corruption is referring to 4 types of corruption. The first type of corruption is the loss of barakah. This was mentioned by Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu. Now, after the first corruption, the second corruption is people openly committing disobedience. People openly committing disobedience. And this was said by Abu al-Aliya. The third corruption is major shirk. This was mentioned by Qatada and As-Sudai. The fourth corruption is drought and famine, as rain is being withheld. Drought and famine as rain is being withheld. This was mentioned by Atiyah. Now, when the Exalted One says corruption, these 4 types of corruptions that is spread on land and sea, what is the land, the bar? What is this land referring to? Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, the land being referred to is the areas of land where there are no rivers, and it is landlocked. The areas of land where there are no rivers and it is landlocked. As for the sea, the sea refers to the cities and towns on the coast. This was mentioned by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu as well. Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl has said, I do not say that sea is referring to this only, but every city that has its own boundaries and where it takes from water. Qatada likewise said that the intent of land is also the people who are Bedouins and the outlying areas, And the sea means the people of the cities. As the Zajjaj said, the intent of the seas here are the cities along the coast, and we know that the word Bahar is the well-known word for sea. Mujahid said, we see the corruption spreading on land because the children of Adam, we have one son of Adam killing his brother. And then we have one king who's tyrannical taking the boats of another king or another people. It was said to Atiyah, which other fasad, which other corruption do we see on the sea? He said, when the rain is withheld, tribulation results. Because of what the hands of people have thrown forward. So corruption has appeared on land and sea on account of what the hands of the people have sent forth, meaning because they did disobedience. In order for them to taste a part of that which they did, meaning the reward of their actions. And the reward of such actions is a famine coming about through drought is a penalty, just as loss of barakah is a penalty. Disobedience that comes from it is a penalty. And it's on account of their disobedience. This is so that they might return. Meaning so that when they have the penalties such as these come to them, so that they might turn away from disobedience and come to the truth. And this was said by Abu al-Aliya and Ibrahim al-Nakha'i. And the Exalted One has spoken the truth in this regard. And he says further, قُلْ سِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَانظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِ كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُمْ مُشْرِكِينَ فَأَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ الْقَيِّمِ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ قَوْمٌ لَا مَرَدَّ لَهُ مِنَ اللَّهِ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصَّدَّعُونَ مَنْ كَفَرَ فَعَلَيْهِ كُفْرُهُ وَمَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلِأَنفُسِهِمْ يَمْهَدُونَ لِيَجْزِيَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْكَافِرِينَ وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ يُرْسِلَ الرِّيَاحَ مُبَشِّرَاتٍ وَلِيُذِيقَكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ وَلِتَجْزِيَ الْفُلْكُ بِأَمْرِهِ وَلِتَبْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ رُسُلًا إِلَى قَوْمِهِمْ فَجَاءُوهُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ فَانْتَقَمْنَا مِنَ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ الله الذي يرسل الرياح فتثير سحابا فيبسطه في السماء كيف يشاء ويجعله كسفا فترى الودق يخرج من خلاله فَإِذَا أَصَابَ بِهِ مَن يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ إِذَا هُمْ يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ وَإِن كَانُوا مِن قَبْلِ أَن يُنَزَّلَ عَلَيْهِم مِّن قَبْلِهِ لَمُبْلِسِينَ فانظر إلى آثار رحمة الله كيف يحيي الأرض بعد موتها إن ذلك لمحيي الموتى وهو على كل شيء قدير. Say, travel through the earth and see how was the ultimate end of those who came before. Most of them used to worship idols and commit idolatry. Now establish your face firmly to the true faith. From before there comes a day in which there shall be no safety from Allah. On that day, they shall be filled with terror. Whoever rejects faith, then upon him is his kufr. And whoever did righteous deeds, then it's for themselves in which they are guided. So that they might be rewarded, those who believe and do righteous deeds from his virtue. Indeed, he does not love the unbelievers. From his signs is that he sends the winds as givers of glad tidings, so that they might cause you to taste from his mercy, and so that the ships might travel by his command along their path, and that you might seek from his favor, and so that you might also give thanks. We have sent from before you messengers to their people, so they came to them with clear signs. And for those who for those who rejected faith and transgressed and were criminal, then we avenged them. And the right was upon us to help the believers. Allah is the one who sends forth the winds and drives forth the clouds, and they spread out in the sky how he wills. And a portion of it goes forth and waters forth, and they move about like mountains, and it comes down from those places into inlets. And he causes the rain to reach whoever he wills from his slaves, so that they might be giving glad tidings and rejoicing. And even if they had been beforehand, they had sent down to them beforehand rain, they would have drowned in it if he had so willed. Now look to the signs and the points of the mercy of Allah, how he revives the land after it had been dead. Indeed, the same thing is for him, who is indeed the one who resurrects the dead. And he has power over everything. Surah Ar-Rum, the 30th Surah, ayat 42 to 50. When the Exalted One has said, travel through the earth, see what was the end of those who came before you, meaning look at their habitations and look at their relics. And most of them associated partners, meaning they were destroyed in their idolatry. And establish your face, meaning make your firm intention to follow the true faith, which is Islam, the straight path. From before there comes to you a day in which there is no escape from Allah. This is the day of resurrection. No one can put back that day, because He, Allah the Exalted, has ordained when that day shall be. That day, people shall be set across and be in terror and fright, and be separated into two categories. Yasadda'un, meaning they will be split into the people of the paradise and into the people of the fire. Whoever rejects faith, then upon him is his kufr, meaning that is the reward of his kufr. Whoever did righteous deeds, then they shall be guided aright by that. And these people, they shall be at peace in their graves. From his signs is that he sent the winds as givers of glad tidings, meaning to give glad tidings of rain because of the moisture that comes in it, so that he might cause you to taste of his mercy. The mercy is the cool rain and weather and the other things that come from it in harvest, and that the boats might travel on the sea with those winds which blow them along by his command, so that you might seek guidance and that you also might seek commerce by sea from his favor, meaning the sustenance. And all of this comes on account of the winds. He's the one who sent the messengers with clear glad tidings, meaning evidences of their truthfulness. And we sought vengeance from those who transgressed, meaning we had punished those who they tortured the messengers. And this was a right upon us, something that he declared for himself that he had to do, to destroy the unbelievers and to also help the believers by saving them with the messengers from the punishment of those who rejected faith. Allah is the one who sent the winds forward. He sent the clouds to move forward, and Allah spread them out in the sky how He wills. So some are spread out and they stay for a day, others a few days, some are less, some are more. And He made them and piled them into lumps. So some of them are piled high into lumps, some are spread thinly, some are long, and some have other shapes that He, Allah, has ordained. And you will see coming down from these great mountains water. This was discussed in Surah An-Nur, the 24th Surah 43. So this lightning and thunder and rain reaches whoever He wills, and those who receive it that rejoice in it, meaning they rejoice because rain is coming and they need it for harvest. Even if rain had been sent down from before, He, Allah the Exalted, gives them rain again. So here Allah is showing that He is the one that sent down these affairs and sent down to them the rain. So before the sending down of rain, they required it, and He, Allah, sent it to them. Look at the signs and the relics of the mercy of Allah. Now, the relic here, athar, which is the plural of athar, the intent here, the relics of Allah's mercy, meaning the rain, because it is a relic. It is a bygone of what Allah has given. And the relic of the rain is the vegetation. So the meaning here is, look at the goodness that Allah has manifested in the earth. The relic of rain is vegetation. Just like the relic of civilizations are their buildings. Look how He resurrects the dead land. He causes it to grow after when there had been no vegetation. And He sends forward the wind, which is cold, some wind that is harmful and can destroy as punishment. And because of this, whenever the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would feel a strong, cool wind, he would say, "O Allah, make it a cool wind of mercy and not one of punishment." The Exalted One says further of this matter regarding those who seek the truth. He says, وَلَئِنْ أَرْسَلْنَا رِيحًا فَرَأَوْهُ مُصْفَرًّا لَظَلُّوا مِنْ بَعْدِهِ يَكْفُرُونَ فَإِنَّكَ لَا تُسْمِعُ الْمَوْتَى وَلَا تُسْمِعُ الصُّمَّ الدُّعَاءَ إِذَا وَلَّوْا مُدْبِرِينَ وَمَا أَنْتَ بِهَادِ الْعُمْيِ عَنْ ضَلَالَتِهِمْ إِن تُسْمِعُ إِلَّا مَنْ يُؤْمِنُ بِآيَاتِنَا فَهُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ الله الذي خلقكم من ضعف ثم جعل من بعد ضعف قوة ثم جعل من بعد قوة ضعفا وشيبة يخلق ما يشاء وهو العليم القدير ويوم تقوم الساعة يقسم المجرمون ما لبثوا غير ساعة كذلك كانوا يؤفكون وقال الذين أوتوا العلم والإيمان لقد لبثتم فرطتم في كتاب الله إلى يوم البعث فهذا يوم البعث ولكنكم كنتم لا تعلمون فيومئذ لا ينفع الذين ظلموا معذرتهم ولا هم يستعتبون ولقد ضربنا للناس في هذا القرآن من كل مثل ولئن جئتهم بآية ليقولن الذين كفروا إن أنتم إلا مبطلون كذلك يطبع الله على قلوب الذين لا يعلمون فاصبر إن وعد الله حق ولا يستخفنك الذين لا يوقنون. And if we had sent a wind that they had saw that had yellowed the produce, they would have sought shade after that and still rejected faith. Indeed, you cannot cause the dead to hear, nor can you cause the dead to hear the cries when their backs are turned. You cannot guide the blind from their astrayness. They only listen whoever believes in our signs, and they're Muslim. Allah is the one who created you from a state of weakness. Then He made you after that weakness to have strength, and after that strength He gave you weakness and old age and gray hair. He creates what He wills, and He is the all-knowing, the all-powerful. On a day in which the hour shall be established, the criminals shall be divided up, and they shall not be able to hide for even an hour. Likewise, they were deluded and led astray. Those who were given knowledge and Iman say that which is, and believe in that which has been given in the book of Allah up until the day of resurrection. They say, those people who were given knowledge and faith. The day of resurrection is true, but indeed you did not know. It is on that day those who oppressed shall not have any excuse benefit them, nor shall they be given any reprieve. Already we've given humanity in this Qur'an every single type of example. And if you had come to them with another sign, they would have said, as those who rejected faith had said, this is only falsehood, and you are only astray. Likewise, Allah has sealed the hearts of those who do not know. Be patient. Indeed, the promise of Allah is true. And do not let those who have no certainty cause you to slip from the path. Surah Ar-Rum, the 30th surah, ayat 51 to 60. The Exalted One has said that He is the one who created you in a state of weakness. Now, we've mentioned some of this already in Surah Al-Anfal, the 8th surah, 66. The scholars of commentary say it's referring to the fact that He created from water, this watery substance that man has come from, which is semen. Then, after that weakness, meaning after the weakness of childhood and infancy, He then gave you youth. And after the strength of youth, He gave you the weakness of old age and gray hair. And He, Allah, creates what He wills, meaning from the weakness, strength, youth, and old age, all these are creations of Allah. And He creates what He wills. And He knows the design of His creation. He has power over what He wills. And on the day that the hour is established, as Zajjaj has said, now whenever you see the expression as-sa'a in the Quran, it is always referring to the establishment of the day of resurrection. So because of this, one of the names for the day of resurrection is as-sa'a. It does not specifically refer to a type of hour, but just the fact of the time. The criminals shall be divided up and seek help, but they will have no such help to depend on, just as they didn't in the graves. Likewise, they denied the truth and rejected it utterly this time which was to come to them. They denied it in this earthly life. Now it is too late. So Allah has scandalized them on the day of resurrection because He's making the distinction between them and the believers. And He shows in their falsehood the distinction between them and the believers and how they lied against the truth. Then the believers rebuke them by saying, those who were given knowledge and faith. Now those who were given knowledge of faith are two, the angels and the ordinary believers among men. They rebuke these rejectors. So those who were given knowledge of the book and faith in Allah, they say, and rebuke them, this is the day of resurrection, the day which you were denied. But you did not know, meaning in this earthly life, that it was to come. That very day in which those who oppressed shall have no excuse that will benefit them. So those who committed idolatry shall not have any excuse nor repentance accepted from them, nor shall they be given any way out. And if you'd come to them with a sign, for example, the stick of Nabiyyuna Musa or the sign of the hand, they would have still said, those who reject faith, you and your people are upon clear falsehood. Likewise, their hearts have been sealed. He, Allah, says He sealed their hearts because they don't know. He sealed the hearts of those who don't know, meaning those who don't know the Tawheed of Allah. And the reason why the unbelievers have been prevented from Tawheed is that a seal has been placed on their hearts so they cannot believe. Be patient, the promise of Allah, of His helping you, O Muhammad, is true, and manifesting you against your enemy is true. Do not allow those who are uncertain to lead you away from the path, meaning their astrayness and doubting. They're not certain in the hereafter and the rewards and punishments. Only some scholars of commentary have said that this ayah was abrogated by Surah At-Tawbah, the 9th surah, ayah 5. Now we come to the next surah, which is Surah Luqman. The vast majority of scholars say that this is a Meccan surah. Ata ibn Abi Rabah has said this is a Meccan surah other than two ayat which were sent down to Medina, which are وَلَوْ أَنَّ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْلَامٍ up till the end of it, which is ayat 27 to 28. And if the earth had been made from trees and the seas from if the trees of the earth had been made out of pens and the seas of ink. This ayah is said to be from Al-Madinah. Al-Hasan al-Basri has said, there's also an ayah in Al-Madinah as well, الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ, those who establish the prayer and they give the zakah. That's ayah 4 of Surah Luqman. Because the salah and the zakah being mentioned together are both from Medinan surahs. Now the Exalted One then starts the surah by saying, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alif Lam Mim, Tilka Ayatul Kitabil Hakim, Hudan wa Rahmatan lil Muhsinin, الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم بالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون ومن الناس من يشتري لهو الحديث ليضل عن سبيل الله بغير علم ويتخذها هزوا أولئك لهم عذاب مهين وإذا تتلى عليه آياتنا ولى مستكبرا كأن لم يسمعها كأن في أذنيه وقرا فبشره بعذاب أليم إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم جنات النعيم خالدين فيها وعد الله حقا وهو العزيز الحكيم خلق السماوات بغير عمد ترونها وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وبث فيها من كل دابة وأنزلنا من السماء ماء فأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج كريم هذا خلق الله فأروني ماذا خلق الذين من دونه بل الظالمون في ضلال مبين. Alif Lam Mim. Those are the signs of the wise book. A guidance and a mercy for those of excellence. Those who establish the prayer, they give the zakah, and are certain of the hereafter. They are on clear guidance from their Lord, and they are successful. For among men are those who listen to vain speech, so that they might lead astray from the path of Allah without knowledge, and take it as a sport and pastime. They indeed shall have a painful punishment. When our signs are recited to them, they turn their backs in arrogance. It is as if they did not hear it, as if there is a blockage in their ears. Give them the tidings of a severe punishment to come. Those who believe and do righteous deeds shall have gardens of felicity, to be forever therein. The promise of Allah is true. He is the Almighty, the All-Wise. He created the skies without any pillars that you see. And He has established in the earth large pegs so that it doesn't shake with you. And He has spread out in the earth every type of beast and creature. He has sent down from the sky water and caused to germinate therefrom of every noble type and thing. This is the creation of Allah. So show me those that are besides Him, what they've created. Indeed, the oppressors are in clear and open error. Surah Luqman, the 31st Surah, ayat 1 to 11. When the Exalted One refers to this as Hudan wa Rahmah, guidance and mercy, Hudan wa Rahmah, we only see Hamza reciting it as Hudan wa Rahmatun, whereas Az-Zajjaj has said that it is Hudan wa Rahmah. Now, the meaning of this is that those signs of the book, which are a guide and a mercy and a clear proof. Now, we've already discussed the words Alif, Lam, Mim and others, the letterings, the disjointed letters in Surah Al-Baqarah, the 2nd Surah, ayat 1 to 5. However, the ayah, and from among men are those who love to purchase vain speech. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, this ayah was sent down regarding a man who purchased a singing girl and musical instruments. Mujahid has said it was sent down regarding the purchase of musical instruments, stringed and wind. Ibn as-Sa'ib and Muqatil have mentioned it was specifically regarding An-Nadr ibn al-Harith, because he was a merchant that used to go to Iran. And he used to always bring back and purchase news or stories of past nations. And he would tell the Quraysh about them. And he would then say to them, you know, Muhammad tells you the stories of Ad and Thamud, but I can tell you something better, which are the stories of Rustam and Astindiyar, as well as the other news of Akasira and others. So they would sit and listen to his news, and they would leave listening to the Qur'an, which would lead them astray. So this ayah was sent down on account of that. Now the intent of vain speech is referring to, firstly, wind and string instruments. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu has said, I swear by the one who is there is no God besides him. And he swore 3 times, it is wind and string instruments. This is the same statement made by Ibn Abbas, Mujahid, Sa'id ibn Jubair, Ikrimah, and Qatada. As well as Ibn Abi Nujayh from Mujahid, who said, it is the drum with cymbals and instruments around it. The second thing it refers to is anything that distracts from Allah. This was said by Al-Hasan al-Basri. The third thing this refers to is major shirk. And this was said by Ad-Dahhak. The fourth is all types of falsehood. And this was mentioned by Ata ibn Abi Rabah. So when someone uses his wealth, and the example of someone using their wealth to do falsehood is An-Nadr ibn al-Harith, is mentioned in the hadith. Then this is one who buys vain speech. This was also mentioned by Qatada and others. So these things are called vain speech because they take people away from the remembrance of Allah, and they lead people astray to the path of falsehood. Part of which is going to be, it was already mentioned in Surah Al-Hajj, the 22nd Surah 9. And they take it as a pastime. So by taking it as a pastime, they then leave the signs and take the signs as a joke or as something easy. Now we've already discussed this before in Surah Al-Isra, the 17th Surah, Ayah 46, Surah Al-An'am, the 6th Surah, Ayah 25, Surah Al-Baqarah, the 2nd Surah, Ayah 25, and Surah Al-Ra'd, the 13th Surah, Ayah 2, as well as Surah Al-Nahl, the 16th Surah, Ayah 15, and Surah Al-Shu'ara, the 26th Surah, Ayah 7. As for the statement that comes after, it mentions the story of Luqman the wise. Because everything that came before has already been discussed in other commentary literature that we've just quoted. The Exalted One says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ وَإِذْ قال لقمان لبنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ووالديك إلي المصير وإن جاهداك على أن تشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطعهما وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفا واتبع سبيل من أناب إلي ثم إلي مرجعكم فأنبئكم بما كنتم تعملون يا بني إنها إن تك مثقال حبة من خردل فتكون في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأت بها الله إن الله لطيف خبير يا بني أقم الصلاة وأمر بالمعروف وانه عن المنكر واصبر على ما أصابك إن ذلك من عزم الأمور ولا تصعر خدك للناس ولا تمشي في الأرض مرحا إن الله لا يحب كل مختال فخور وقصد في مشيك واغضض من صوتك إن أنكر الأصوات لصوت الحمير. We have already given Luqman the wisdom, saying that he should show gratefulness to Allah. And whoever shows gratefulness, then it's gratefulness to himself that he receives. Whoever should reject faith, and indeed Allah is self-sufficient, worthy of praise. When Luqman said to his son, while advising him and admonishing him, My dear son, do not associate partners with Allah. Indeed, idolatry is a great oppression. And we advised the human being regarding his parents, his mother who bore him with difficulty upon difficulty, and spent 2 years weaning him and raising him up and giving him strength, that he show gratefulness to me and also show gratefulness to your parents, and to me is the return. If, however, the two parents or one of them should try to force you to associate partners with me of which you have no knowledge, do not obey them in that regard. But in all other things in the earthly matter, be good to them and show righteousness. Follow the way of those who showed heedfulness to me and mindfulness. To me is your return, and I will inform you of that which you used to do. O my dear son, indeed, even if you should have one mustard seed, and it's kept under a boulder or something in the skies of the earth, He, Allah, will bring it forth, no matter where it is. Indeed, He is the subtle, the all-informed and aware. O my dear son, establish the prayer. Command with righteousness, forbid from wrong. Be patient on what tribulations come to you. Indeed, that is from the best of affairs to be firmly determined upon. And do not turn your cheek to the people and push them away, nor move throughout the earth, in a vain and conceited manner. Indeed, Allah does not love every conceited and boastful sinner. And make sure that your speech is level and that your gait is straight. And lower your voice. Indeed, the worst of voices is the braying of the donkey. Surah Luqman, the 31st Surah, ayat 12 to 19. The Exalted One, when he says we gave Luqman the wisdom, it refers to understanding and strong intellect. And this is the understanding of the vast majority. However, the second position is prophethood. Now, the scholars have differed regarding his prophethood, and there are two camps. The first say that Luqman was a hakim, he was a wise man, and not a prophet. This was said by Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, Mujahid, and Qatada. The second position is that he indeed was a prophet. Those holding the position that Luqman the Wise was a prophet include Sha'bi, Ikrimah, and As-Sudai, as well as Al-Wahidi. However, these chains of transmission have generally only come through Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl. And as far as I'm concerned, the first position is the most correct, in that he was not a prophet, but a wise man. As far as his means of livelihood, which is alluded to slightly within these ayat, he had three means of livelihood. One is that he was a seamster. And this was mentioned by Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib. He was a seamster. The second job that he had is that he was a shepherd. And this is mentioned by Ibn Zayd. The third job that he had was that of a carpenter, as said by Khalid al-Rubai. Now, when discussing his attributes and his appearance, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu has said that he was a slave that had been taken from Ethiopia. However, another position is by Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib. He stated that Luqman was a dark-skinned wise man from the southernmost part of Egypt. Mujahid stated that he also, according to historical accounts, is mentioned to have had a strong frown, full lips, and flat feet and large hands, and he was a qadi among the children of Israel. Close quote. Now, something just very quickly about Luqman the Wise. By stating that, because the historians state that he was from the children of Israel. The children of Israel, we have to understand, the children of Israel coming from Nabiyuna Yaqub alayhi salam, whose name was changed to Israel, and he had his 12 sons with his wives. This means that Luqman lived at least 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago. The children of Israel, 3,000 years ago, at the very least. Because you have to remember, Nabiyuna Ismail and Nabiyuna Ishaq, alayhim salam, they were 4,000 years ago from Nabiyuna Ibrahim, alayhi salam. Then Nabiyuna Ishaq, alayhi salam, has his children, one of which is Nabiyuna Yaqub. His name is changed to Israel. Then he has his children. So you're looking at least 3,000 years ago, because the children of Israel were spread out on the earth. We're not told which tribe that Luqman the Wise is from. We're just told that he was a judge from the children of Israel. The period of judges in the children of Israel, the period of judges was when the children of Israel were established in Sham, which is roughly around 3,000 years ago. Other than that, we don't have a lot of information. Now, it's been said by Orientalists and some that Luqman the Wise, they have opined, was Aesop, who wrote Aesop's fables. One of the reasons why they say that is that it was stated that by Ibn Abbas that he was Ethiopian. And Aesop was also known to be from the land of Agamemnon. Agamemnon is a section within Ethiopia. So because they say, well, he could have been Ethiopian, and Aesop was Ethiopian who wrote Aesop's fables, maybe they're the same person. The problem with this, though, is the time that Aesop was supposed to have lived and to have written the fables was far after Luqman the Wise. Several thousand years. At least 1,000. So there's no way that Aesop could be Luqman the Wise. Any more than when an Orientalist tells you that Dhul Qarnayn was Alexander the Great. Dhul Qarnayn lived 4,000 years ago. Went with Nabiyuna Ibrahim alayhi salam to the Kaaba and encountered him at one point. Alexander the Great is the Macedonian. He lived 333 BC, around that area. 332 BC. That's some 3,000 years later. There's no way that's the same person. Not only that, Alexander the Great was homosexual and a very outspoken one. So how is Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam going to take an outspoken homosexual on a trip to the Kaaba? That's simply, superfluous. It's not possible. So we have to look at things historically. From what we know, Luqman, we do not have any, we don't have any correlation to any other historical figures. Sometimes you'll get correlations where Nabiyuna Shu'aib alayhi salam was also known as Yithru, right, which has been corrupted in English into Jethro, right? So if you have a Christian go to his Bible in the book of Genesis, you see there's a prophet Midian, which is Median, right? The prophet Jethro, right? You'll find, okay, well, it's the same thing. Him meeting Nabiyuna Musa alayhi salam, same thing. So you'll find most of the material, but there are also cases where information outside of Revelation, we don't have any corresponding material. And this is one of those examples. Luqman the Wise, we have no other corresponding material other than what Allah has given us here, what historical accounts and information we have, what the companions have given us from what they asked the Prophet ﷺ, and what the Tabi'een may have quizzed the companions about and received information on. Now the Imam, he then says, quote, And so, whoever shows thanks to Allah, so Allah was telling him to show thanks to Allah and what he'd been given of the wisdom. And whoever shows thankfulness to Allah, then he shows thankfulness to himself, meaning he does so for his own sake. And whoever rejects faith and the favor that's been given, then indeed Allah, He is self-sufficient from all the slaves of His creation. And we have ordained for man to show goodness to his parents. This was sent down regarding Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas. And we've already discussed this in Surah Al-Ankabut, the 29th Surah, Ayah 8. His mother bore him in difficulty after difficulty. This difficulty, weakness after weakness, means that she bore him alone. She's the only one who can bear the pregnancy. Males cannot bear pregnancy. And that she suffered weakness after weakness. So it was ordained that the child should show goodness and gratefulness to the parents, because that is showing gratefulness to Allah. And that the child was weaned over a 2-year or close to a 2-year cutoff point. So it shows here the difficulty that the mother has in breastfeeding the child after pregnancy. And if the two parents or one of them should try to force you, now this ayah is repeated in Surah Al-Ankabut, the 29th Surah, Ayah 8, up until the statement, and show them good in all affairs of the earthly life. As the judges said, meaning, be companions to them, say good words to them, and show righteousness. Follow the way of the one who comes to me with humility, whoever shall return to me. So we've already discussed that this ayah was sent down regarding Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, and he was being addressed. And those that shall come back to Allah, follow the way of those who are returning to me in goodness. Sa'ad was told to take as an example Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, because he was good to his father, who at the time was an unbeliever. This was mentioned by Ibn Abbas in one narration. Ibn Ishaq also said that one of the reasons why he should follow is because Abu Bakr as-Siddiq had many people become Muslim at his hands, which included Uthman ibn Affan, Talha ibn Ubaydullah, Az-Zubayr ibn Al-Awwam, Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, and Abdur-Rahman ibn Auf. And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given him as an example. So this ayah, according to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is also explicitly referring to Abu Bakr, to follow the one who sincerely comes to me. So follow the way of those, which also includes the companions of Muhammad and others. Ya bunay, O my dear son. This is used to show nearness and dearness. Even if you should have a mustard seed hidden in the earth. So he says to his son, even if there was a mustard seed hidden in the ocean or hidden deep in the earth, would Allah not know about it? And this ayah shows the discussion that they had. So this shows even if there's one sin, one thing hidden, how could Allah not know about it? Indeed, it will be known. The mustard seed example is given because of how small the seed is. So the mustard seed is a good example as an illustration. Because even something so small as that, Allah shall bring it to light. The mustard seed is again mentioned in Surah Al-Anbiya, the 21st Surah 47, on account of its smallness. Even if it's in a boulder or a rock, under the seventh earth, under the seventh sky, it's still not hidden from Allah. He, Allah, knows about it and will manifest it, and Allah will bring it to bear in the hereafter, so that one is either rewarded for it or punished on account of it. He, Allah, is subtle and aware of all things and knows how to bring them about, and informed of the place and knows where everything is located. And this example also is an example of the deeds of the slave of Allah. So Allah brings to bear all deeds on the day of resurrection, whether they are good or evil, no matter how small they might be. Be patient on that which comes to you, meaning when you enjoin the right and forbid the wrong, you will suffer difficulties. Be patient. The rest of this ayah that I've given and the rest of this, we've already discussed this in Surah Al-Imran, the 3rd Surah, 187. But when Allah the Exalted says, but do not shift your cheek towards the people, the cheek of your face being referred to, meaning do not push them away, not put any difficulty between them, and have a good gait. Do not walk either arrogantly slow, dragging one leg or both of them, nor quickly, in which to push away from the people, but move with a moderate pace. Lower your voice and do not shout when speaking to people, because the worst of voices is the braying of the donkey. So a likeness was made between yelling and shouting, which is not praiseworthy in most instances, and being shown to be something dispraised. And then it's being compared to that of the braying of a donkey. Because the donkey that brays in a loud, annoying voice. And someone who's constantly using a loud, annoying voice annoys others and resembles the donkey. So raising of the voice, if raising of the voice was such a blessed thing at all times, Allah would not have declared it so bad, and would not have compared it between that of the donkey. But here Sufyan al-Thawri has also said, the glorification of Allah, everything has its time. And everything has its glorification. People raise their voices to glorify Allah. The donkey only brays just for the sake of making noise. Now the question is, why is the word sawt, voice, it's in the plural rather than the singular, when there's only one donkey mentioned? Well, the answer to this question is that every species has a voice or a type. It is as if Allah, He is saying that the worst of all types of voices in this genus, in this category, is that of the donkey. Now, here Allah the Exalted, He then gives us a further example where He says, أَلَمْ تَرَوْا أَنَّ اللَّهَ سَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَأَسْبَغَ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعَمَهُ ظَاهِرَةً وَبَاطِنَةً وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يُجَادِلُ فِي اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَلَا هُدًى وَلَا كِتَابٍ مُنِيرٍ وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اتَّبِعُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ قَالُوا بَلْ نَتَّبِعُ مَا وَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا أَوَلَوْ كَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ يَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَى عَذَابِ السَّعِيرِ وَمَنْ يُسْلِمْ وَجْهَهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَهُوَ مُحْسِنٌ فَقَدِ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى وَإِلَى اللَّهِ عَاقِبَةُ الْأُمُورِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَلَا يَحْزُنْكَ كُفْرُهُ إِلَيْنَا مَرْجِعُهُمْ فَنُنَبِّئُهُمْ بِمَا عَمِلُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ نُمَتِّعُهُمْ قَلِيلًا ثُمَّ نَضْطَرُّهُمْ إِلَى عَذَابٍ غَلِيظٍ وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهُ قُلِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ بَلْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْغَنِيُّ الْحَمِيدُ وَلَوْ أَنَّ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْلَامٌ وَالْبَحْرُ يَمُدُّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ سَبْعَةُ أَبْحُرٍ مَا نَفِدَتْ كَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ ما خلقكم ولا بعثكم إلا كنفس واحدة إن الله سميع بصير. Don't you all see that indeed Allah has subjugated for you all that is in the skies and the earth, and brought forward to you his blessings externally and internally? For among the people are those who dispute regarding Allah without knowledge, nor guidance, nor a manifest and clear book with illumination. When it's said to them, follow what Allah has sent down, they say, we follow what we found our fathers upon, even though the shaitan calls them to clear penalty and a blazing judgment. So, whoever should submit his whole self to Allah and is excellent in such a thing, has taken hold of the firm handhold, and to Allah is the end of all affairs. Whoever should reject faith, then let no one of them cause you to mourn on account of their rejecting faith and unbelief. To us is their return, and we will inform them of that which they used to do. Indeed, Allah knows the deeper innermost secrets of the hearts. We shall give them a period of time, then they shall be brought to bear on that terrible punishment. If you were to ask them who created the skies and the earth, they would have said, Allah. Say, praise be to Allah, but most of them do not know. Allah possesses what's in the sky and the earth. Indeed, Allah is all-sufficient, worthy of praise. And if it was only in the earth, if the earth had only had in it trees in the form of pens, and that the oceans had been turned to ink in order to write with them from after that, and then 7 more oceans were brought to back it up, you would still not exhaust the words of Allah. Indeed, Allah is almighty, all-wise. Your creation, neither your creation nor your resurrection, will be anything except like one soul's creation or resurrection. Allah is all-hearing and all-seeing. Surah Luqman, the 31st Surah, ayat 20 to 28. When the Exalted One is said, do they not see that Allah subjugated for you what's in the skies and the earth? We've already discussed this ayah before, but the part where He, Allah, says, and we've given you the manifest blessings and the favor. The manifest blessings and favor are the Tawheed. So whatever He's given them of His Tawheed, they asked the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once, and it was Ibn Abbas who said, Messenger of Allah, what is the manifest favor and the internal favor? He said, the manifest favor is Islam. And whatever Allah has shown to you of your creation, and what is better for you than the sustenance. As far as what's manifest, as far as what's internal, then He has veiled your sins, so that your sins do not scandalize you in front of the other people. And this is collected in Al-Bayhaqi. Ad-Dahhak has said that the inward is righteousness and the outward is a good form. So He, Allah, has given us good limbs in proportion. And Shaitan calls them to the terrible judgment. As for the statement, and whoever submits his whole self, this is the beginning of the 42nd Hizb. So whoever should submit his whole self to Allah and show excellence. Scholars of commentary say, whoever rejects faith, then let him not cause you to mourn on account of his rejection. Scholars of commentary say that this ayah its judgment was abrogated by Surah At-Tawbah, the 9th Surah, ayah 5. However, the same scholars have said, though, that the one who makes this statement, it's not correct. Its judgment has not been abrogated, but its general judgment has been abrogated. So there are still some people who can be left, while others will be fought. Now, this does not negate the command to fight against those that reject faith when is necessary, but rather its commentary has to be discussed and understood, which we've already covered in Surah Hud, the 11th Surah, ayah 48, Surah Al-Ankabut, the 29th Surah, ayah 61, and Surah Al-Baqarah, the 2nd Surah, ayah 267. He, the Exalted One, then also mentions regarding the trees being pens and the seas being ink. The reason, there are two incidents why this ayah was revealed. One is that some of the rabbinical scholars said to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, haven't you seen the statement of Allah, mighty and majestic, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. We've only given you a little bit of the knowledge. Surah Isra, the 17th Surah, 85. So if we want, what about more knowledge than that? What is the extent of the knowledge? They said, has it not been given that what you've come with, you've had the knowledge? Or is it the case that you've only been given a portion? Or maybe this is all the knowledge that there is? Indeed, we've been given the Torah, and we think it's clear for everything. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, the knowledge that you've been given is only a little bit. And then this ayah was revealed. This was mentioned by Sa'id ibn Jubayr from Ibn Abbas. The idol worshippers also said about the Qur'an in doubt, and Allah revealed this ayah. So this ayah shows that if the trees of the earth were pens, and the oceans, with 7 more to back it up, were ink, it still would not be enough to exhaust the words of Allah. The pens would have surely broken, and the oceans would have surely dried up, and the speech of Allah would still have not been completed. This is one of the signs that it shows us that Allah's speech, it is manifest, and it cannot be exhausted. When He, Allah the Exalted, said, neither your creation or your resurrection will be except like one soul. The reason why this was revealed is that Ubay ibn Khalaf, one of the Quraysh who was present, said to the Prophet ﷺ, you say Allah has created us in these stages: sperm drop, leech-like clot, the chewed flesh, then bones and flesh. Then you also claim that we'll be resurrected as a new creation altogether in 1 hour? How can that be? So this ayah was sent down. So He, Allah, is saying that your creation, humanity, all of it, in one moment is the same as the creation in one moment. Resurrection shall be as one moment. So just as the creation of everything was in one moment, so shall this be like in one moment. Now, we've already discussed this before. Someone can refer back to Surah Al-Imran, the 3rd Surah, 27, Surah Al-Ra'd, the 13th Surah, 2, and Surah Al-Hajj, the 22nd Surah, 62, for further details. Then Allah mentions, after this, something further, where He says, أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يُولِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَيُولِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ وَسَخَّرَ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ كُلٌّ يَجْرِي إِلَى أَجَلٍ مُّسَمًّى وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ. ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأن ما يدعون من دونه الباطل وأن الله هو العلي الكبير ألم تر أن الفلك تجري في البحر بنعمة الله ليريكم من آياته إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور وإذا غشيهم موج كالظلل دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين فلما نجاهم إلى البر فمنهم مقتصد وما يجحد بآياتنا إلا كل ختار كفور يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم واخشوا يوما لا يجزي والد عن ولده ولا مولود هو جاز عن والده شيئا إن وعد الله حق فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور إن الله عنده علم الساعة وينزل الغيث ويعلم ما في الأرحام وما تدري نفس ماذا تكسب غدا وما تدري نفس بأي أرض تموت إن الله عليم خبير. Do you not see that indeed Allah fades and merges the night into the day, fades and merges the day into the night? He has subjugated the sun and the moon, all swimming in a predetermined path. And indeed, Allah is all informed of that which you do. That is because indeed Allah, He is the truth. And that what they call on from besides Him is falsehood. And that Allah is the Most High, the All Grand. Don't you see that in the ships that travel on the seas are by the favor of Allah, so that He might show you of His signs? Indeed, in that are signs for every patient, thankful one. And when the waves overwhelm them with great shadows, they call on Allah sincerely. And when we have saved them to the land, some of them maintain the promise that they made. No one denies our signs except for every boastful, ungrateful sinner. Humanity, fear your Lord, and fear a day in which the parent will not be rewarded regarding the child, nor the one given birth to, nor can he be rewarded regarding his parent at all. Indeed, the promise of Allah is true. Do not let this earthly life deceive you, and do not let the deceiver cause you deception regarding Allah. Allah has in His sight the knowledge of the hour, the weather and what is sent down. He knows what's in the wombs. No soul knows what it shall learn tomorrow. No soul knows in which land it shall die. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing, all-informed. Surah Luqman, the 31st Surah, ayat 29 to 34. When the Exalted One is said, don't you see how Allah, the Exalted, has guided the ships in the ocean by the favor of Allah to show you His signs? Meaning they move about by His command. The winds blow, and He shows you His signs. So you'll see things at sea that you don't see on land when you're out seeking His favor. There are signs for every patient one who's patient with the command of Allah, thankful of His favors. And when they're overwhelmed, meaning the unbelievers, the waves. And this ayah is general regarding both unbelievers and Muslims, They come over like shadows. And they feel fear. They call on Allah sincerely. Now this was already discussed some ways in Surah Yunus, the 10th Surah, ayat 22. The meaning is that when in the greatest time of peril, the idol worshippers do not call upon their idols. They only mention Allah alone. We have this mentioned in the hadith that Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, on the day of the conquest, when the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Mecca, he fled. And he took himself aboard a ship, which was overwhelmed by a strong wind. The people of the ship said, "Leave everything else. Our gods can be no help to us at this point." Ikrimah said, "What are you saying?" They said, "This is a situation in which only Allah can help us." Ikrimah said, "This is the God of Muhammad, who he's called us to. If I call on him, nothing can save me except for sincerity that I call on him with. If he saves me and I make it to land, then I will certainly go and put my hands in those of Muhammad and become Muslim." He was saved, he made it to land, and he later went and became a Muslim. And this is collected by Ad-Daraqutni. Some of them are truthful in their regard, meaning some are truthful while others are unbelievers. Some acknowledge that Allah is one and able to do all things and to save. Others stand steadfast on idolatry. Some discharge the covenant of Allah regarding Tawheed, whether on land or sea. Others do not. Some are deceived. When Allah the Exalted says, "Humanity, fear your Lord," the scholars of commentary say, here Allah is speaking to the unbelievers. No parent shall be rewarded regarding his child, meaning no one can lift any penalty or difficulty from them. We've discussed this in Surah Al-Baqarah, the 2nd Surah 48. No one can have protection on that day. No one can offer protection. Indeed, the promise of Allah is true regarding the resurrection and the rewards. Do not let the earthly life deceive you. Meaning, don't let it deceive you to pull you away from Islam and cause you to forget about the hereafter. Do not be deceived in Allah by the deceiver, who is Shaitan. And one of his chief attributes is deception. One of his names, Al-Gharur, the deceiver. This is one of his names. And it signifies that he is always doing it, because he's always deceiving. Because he deceives a great deal. And this is what Shaitan does. Indeed, Allah has in his sight the knowledge of the hour. This ayah was sent down regarding a man who came from the desert, who was a desert Arab. He came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, "My wife has delivered a child. So inform me what she shall deliver. Our land is far away and deprived of rain. Inform me when it shall rain. You know when I was born. Now inform me when I shall die." This ayah was sent down as an answer to that question. The meaning of the ayah is that indeed Allah possesses knowledge of the hour, meaning when it shall be established. No one knows besides him when the rain shall be sent. So no one knows when it shall come down, daytime or nighttime. He knows what is in the wombs, meaning he knows whether what's in it will be male or female, dark in complexion, lighter complexion, rejecting or not rejecting. No soul knows what it shall earn tomorrow, evil or good, wage or no wage. No soul knows in which land it shall die, meaning which place. So there's no one that knows what land he shall die in. Whether he'll die at land or sea, in ease or difficulty, on land or at mountains. Abu Ubaidah said, which land were you in, or which land you shall be in? No one but Allah has this information. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, these 5, no one knows them, neither an angel near to Allah in his worship, nor a prophet that's been sent. As the Judge said, whoever claims that he knows anything of these has rejected the Qur'an, because he has contradicted this clear ayah. Close quote. Now, something important here. There is a difference of opinion in this matter. They're called the 5 unseen matters. The 5 unseen matters. All of the early Maturidis, all of the Hanbalis, and all of the Ash'aris held the position that the Prophet ﷺ is the most knowledgeable of all of Allah's creations. But he did not have knowledge of the things mentioned in ayah 34, because it's a general statement. Inna Allaha indahu. Indeed, Allah is in his sight. Now, later generations of Maturidis, the most well-known of which is Imam Ahmad Rida Khan, stated that no, the Prophet ﷺ does have knowledge of this. He was given knowledge of it at a later point, when the day of resurrection was going to be. So latter-day Maturidis hold the position that the 5 unseen matters, that the Prophet ﷺ was later informed of this. This is a branch issue in theology. It's a branch issue of theology. So people should not be arguing about these affairs. The dominant position, the majority position, is that he was not. But the minority opinion, which is of the latter-day Maturidis, is that he was. He was informed. As I said, everyone is agreed that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is the most knowledgeable of all the creations of Allah. Everyone is agreed and clear on that. Just as everyone is clear from Muslim orthodoxy that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw Allah on the night journey. When you start to ask for details, this is where disputes arise, because we've not been given specific details. So my job is not to try to steer you one way or the other, rather to give you the information and you take it away. So you have Imam Ahmad al-Khan and a number of other scholars like Abdul Wahhab al-Sha'rani, a big alim in his own right, and others who held the position that he was given this information. Then you have Sheikh Abdul Qadir Al-Jilani and other scholars who say he was not given. Sheikh Abdul Qadir Al-Jilani and the others, their position is that he was not given the knowledge of the 5 things. Because Allah in the Qur'an, in one ayah, used the present tense when describing how no one knows the hour. And it's a present tense permanent, which means that it shall never be the case. So for Sheikh Abdul Qadir Al-Jilani rahimahullah, that was a finished argument. Because if it's in the present tense permanent in Arabic, there's no way you can ever know it. This is past tense. Or someone could say this could be construed in the past tense. But in the Arabic, there is a term that is the present tense permanent, which there's no change. And so Sheikh Abdul Qadir Al-Jilani quoted that ayah and a couple of other ayat. And for him, the matter was finished. Right. So Allah the Exalted has spoken the truth in this regard. And we will conclude here. So I say, أقول قولي هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم استغفر الله إن الله غفور رحيم الحميد الرحيم ولا إله إلا الله. Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us because we have been able to get through several pages today. So now we want to ask, are there any questions of what we've covered so far today? Yes.
I heard that there was an eclipse and then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam led prayer, and then after the prayer was led, he turned around and said something like, after this I've been given knowledge of all things. Have you heard of that?
So the question is regarding there being an eclipse prayer. The Prophet ﷺ having led the eclipse prayer, and him saying after the eclipse prayer, I've been given knowledge of all the things. I don't know that statement. Now, that doesn't mean it's not true. It just means I haven't heard it. Right? It just means I haven't heard it. So I don't know the answer to that question. Is there another question? No? Okay. So if there's no further question, inshallah, next week we will be looking to start Surah Al-Sajdah. Okay. We are in the 21st juz. So we are making a lot of headway. Allah has blessed us. So I say subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk innahu ghafurur rahim yarhamir rahimin wa la ilaha illa Allah wassalamu alaykum.